Hey guys, Sean Bougie on the way back to the house. Getting ready for an upcoming good weekend, I hope. A couple things I want to talk about today. The main one being, besides the fact that we're having a live question and answer webinar tonight, and you can get to that by going to surplusfundsriches.net. Go there. At the top, there'll be a webinar button. You'll be able to see a link where you can sign up for that tonight at 8:30 Eastern Time. Now, what I want to talk about is why we still do deed flips, because I've had a couple of people say, hey, Sean, if you're this guru in overages, why do you also flip property? Why do you do that? Well, there's a number of reasons for that, guys. First of all, we started flipping property, and that's how we found out about overages, because we were using a unique way to flip property. Ended up with the deed to the property right before the foreclosure. Wasn't able to flip the property. It had sold for more than the debt that was foreclosing against it. And we asked the clerk at the county, where does this money go? And she said, it goes to the owner unless there's any other encumbrances. We said, owner? She said, yeah, last deed holder. That was us. We had a recorded deed prior to the sale. We said, okay, pay us. Here's a copy of our deed. Nope, doesn't work that way. You've got to file a motion. Have an attorney get it out. And that's what started us. This was actually a mortgage foreclosure overage. And we also had record tax overages, obviously, as well. So, a couple things, guys. One reason is sanity, okay? And what I mean by that is, if you're going to be in front of a computer, our programs teach you how to do overages and flipping completely online from home. Could be in different states even. Teach you exactly how to do that. And, of course, we'll partner up with you. First part is sanity. If you're going to sit down in front of a computer for 10, 20, 30 hours a week, it's nice to be able to work two different programs. It just is. Especially if they both require you to do the same thing, which is just check debt and ownership. In other words, title work. So it's the skill set is transferable. So it just makes sense to me. Okay? Plus, you can work two different programs at the same time and keep your sanity. So you're not pulling your hair out. That's what happened to me. You're not pulling your hair out while you're working. The second one is synergy. Okay? Now, by synergy, I mean that, let's say you go after a deed flip. Let's say you're going to partner with us. Use our regular national deed flip program. You've got a property that's about to go to tax deed sale. You research debt and value and ownership, all this online really quick. Fill out a worksheet with that information, turn it into us. We find the people, put the deal together, buy the property, pay off the taxes that are foreclosing, or mortgage if it's mortgage. Obviously, we have to have, debt to value ratios have to be right. In other words, there can't be $200,000 in debt. We can, and we're going to have to buy it for $200,000. That's not going to work. But we teach you how to do all this. Anyway, so let's say we went through that, we didn't, or they called us back. This is very frequent. They'll call us back a couple days prior to the foreclosure date and say, hey, can you help us? No, there's not enough time for us to get the deed and the contract to you, get it back, record it. Once we see it's recorded at the county level in the Register of Deeds Department, now we're going to pay off the taxes or the debt that's against the property, and now we'll send you a check. There's just no time to stop the foreclosure at 2 days out, 3 days out. There's just no time for it. So, a lot of times we'll run into that where we don't put a deal together, but you've already researched debt and ownership. Think about this. You've already researched debt and ownership. Now it goes to sale. You can see what it sold for, especially in tax sales. You can see what the thing sold for right away, and wait a minute, there was $25,000 foreclosing on the property. It sold for $50,000. There wasn't any other debt. There's a $25,000. You're going to know before anybody else. You're going to be able to resubmit that if you've got both of our programs. You're going to be able to resubmit that now as a surplus funds or overage file to us. Now we've got 2 shots at it, and here's the deal. All this time we're trying to get in touch with the people on the deed flip side of it, get in touch with them before the foreclosure hit. All that time, we've eliminated the wrong phone numbers and addresses. We may have even had a conversation with them. We're going to be the first ones in the door, and we may even have a rapport with them at that point. So obviously there's this synergy involved. That's a really good thing, especially when you've got, it gives you 2 shots at the same property. Not to get paid twice, we make it happen one way or the other. but it's 2 shots at the same property, and your title work is pretty much the same, right? So why not? That's one of the main reasons. The synergy part of it is why not? We had Sanity, right? You're not going to pull your hair out because you're just working one program. Synergy, you got 2 different programs giving you 2 shots at the same property. That's wonderful. The other one was, I'm going to give you a quick story, the other reason why we still work deed flips. So there's a gentleman, he's passed, but he was in Concord, North Carolina, where I used to live. And Mr. Troutman, guy started with nothing. I actually bought a book written about him. He started with nothing, and then he ended up with, he had this large building at the corner of a very busy intersection in Concord, North Carolina, Highway 29 and Rock Hill Church Road, I think. Anyway, he did 3 different things. He sold insurance, he sold used cars, and he built homes. And he did it all out of that everybody knew who he was. He did it all out of that location. He wasn't necessarily the best at each thing, but he was pretty darn good at it. And I used to, in the back of my head, I used to make fun of this guy, right? I drive by and go, pick a freaking industry already. What are you doing? Then we went through a rough spot in the economy. And I watched, and his used car lot was banging. It was just going crazy because nobody could afford a used car anymore. He had a financing deal going. That was awesome, right? People got better. The economy got better. All of a sudden, people are having to build houses, and they're buying more insurance to cover their tail in case something happens. Plus, even in a down market, his insurance company was doing well because he would insure the cars, the used cars that people bought. Guy was a genius. So it's nice to have more than one egg in that basket. It's nice to be able to work that. Guys, we're going to have a webinar tonight. We're going to be revealing. I don't know how I said that. Anyway, revealing information about the new program that we're coming out. I don't know where I got unload. Revealing new information about the new program coming out. We're going to teach you guys how to get property. And by the way, you don't even need money. We're going to teach you how to get that too. How to get property that's coming up for tax sale, where all you have to do is pay the taxes and wait a little while, and you'll have the property. It's basically another take on tax lien investing, but it's not. It's property going to tax deed sale, but it's a take on that in that you would have given them X amount of dollars to pay off the taxes due. In return for a return, now you can get 300 plus return on your money instead of 10-15%. You got to wait a little bit, just like you have to in tax lien investing. But it's a screaming hot deal. And what happened was after a lot of beta testing, we came out with the right script to use, the right mailings to use, how to talk to investors in your local area to get them to actually fund you for this. So there's really no money out of your pocket. Also, not only mailings and the calls and what to say to these folks, obviously, but how to structure the agreement where you're going to let them stay in the property for a little bit, but it's not a lease. It's not a rental agreement. We don't want to get into that right now since they're putting a moratorium on that in a lot of states. So we had to come up with all of this, and we did, and we're excited about it. If you guys have any questions, first of all, come to the webinar tonight at 8:30 Eastern Time. Go to surplusfundsriches.net, click on the webinars tab. You'll see where you can sign up for that tonight. Otherwise, you can also go to surplusfundsriches.net, click on, click on the products tab. It'll make you put your name and email in. You can always unsubscribe, guys. But that'll drop you on the products page. At the bottom is an overview of every single program we've got. And you can call me after reading that. So you can call me with specific questions. Call me at 7:04. This is 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. 704-791-9398. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.